Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. This is Forrest with Carnivore Journey. And today I'm going to talk about my journey to educate myself. I've got 3 books here I want to talk about today. I'm just going to be brief. I want to just show you some titles of some books that I've read that have really been enlightening for me. I think it's important that you learn about nutrition and you ignore everything you've ever heard, everything you've ever learned, all of the organizations like American Medical Association, the Heart Association, the Diabetes Association, a lot of doctors that don't have a clue about nutrition. Just forget about it. Don't worry about the pyramid. Don't worry about, the food pyramid. And it's all garbage. It's all bought and paid for by big food and big pharma. So just unlearn everything that you've learned about nutrition. And here's the best way to start. It's Lies My Doctor Told Me, Medical Myths That Can Harm Your Health by Dr. Ken Berry. This is a must read if you're going to be changing your metabolic health. The first thing you have to do is unlearn everything you've learned. And Dr. Berry does a great job here in this book talking about all the myths, all the lies, all the misinformation that's out there about nutrition. Let me just give you a couple of examples here. He talks about cholesterol. He talks about salt. He talks about all the things that you've heard, about nutrition your whole life. And he debunks all that. So take this book and read it. It's very important to understand what's going on in the world. All the information that you're seeing out there is funded, paid for, and bought by the pharma companies and the big food companies. So they're going to lie, they're going to increase their profits, they're going to do whatever they can to get you hooked on these high-carb, ultra-processed foods. The pharma companies want you to be sick so they can sell you more medicine. And so you really have to be smart. Read books. Learn as much about nutrition as you possibly can, and these books will help you. Here's another one. It's called Dietitian's Dilemma. It's by Michelle Hurn. Okay, she's a registered dietitian. What would you do if your health was restored by doing the opposite of everything you were taught? So here's an example of a healthcare professional that was struggling with severe eating disorders. Her whole life she had problems with weight. She had problems with eating disorders. And she was eating the normal trash that everybody in America eats, the standard American diet, SAD, SAD. It's garbage. Quit eating processed, ultra-processed food. Start eating whole foods, okay? I'm doing nothing but carnivore. I only eat meat and dairy, meat and animal products, and I'm thriving on it. But what you have to do is take an example like this. Read this book and understand what she went through as a professional and how she had to completely ignore everything she was ever taught. And, she was having to live this every day. She was giving advice to patients every day that was completely and totally false. Everything you ever learned about the food pyramid, throw it out the garbage. Throw it out the window. It's garbage. And she knew it, but she was bound by her certification boards to do what she's supposed to do. And unfortunately, doctors are the same way. Doctors are bound by the medical boards to give what's considered the standard of care, the proper standard of care, instead of giving you the proper human diet, as Dr. Berry would call it. So this is a really fascinating book about her life and what she went through as a person suffering from metabolic disorders and eating disorders. Someone who got down to like 57 pounds and almost died from eating disorders. found her way through Dr. Berry and Dr. Baker and some of the other doctors in the carnivore community. She found carnivore and she found keto and then carnivore, and it saved her life. And the dilemma that she had at that point was trying to convince her colleagues who believed all the garbage that they had to tell everybody in the hospital every day. So, really good book. I highly recommend this. It's available on Amazon. Here's another book. This one's called Metabolical. This is by Dr. Robert Lustig, MD. He's an endocrinologist. The Lure and the Lies of Processed Food, Nutrition, and Modern Medicine. All right, now, let me tell you about this book. I have a degree in biology and chemistry and an MBA. And this is an intense read, okay? This book, no problem. This book is pretty intense, okay? I have a degree in chemistry and biology, and I still had, this book was actually, I found out after I read it, this book was actually written for doctors. His intended audience for this book was doctors, okay? But there's a lot of good stuff in this book. If you want to skip over the biochemistry and not worry about the detailed biochemistry, you can still get a lot from this book. Dr. Lustig is an expert about nutrition, okay? And, he goes through all of the chronic diseases and the symptoms and how one phrase that he's got in here is that chronic diseases are not druggable, but they are foodable, okay? Not druggable means that the pharma companies can't figure out how to make you healthy with pills. So they want to give you pills. They want to give you more and more pills. They want everything to be druggable. But if the truth comes out, like it is now, that carnivore will get rid of all those symptoms without the drugs, the pharmaceutical companies are going to lose a lot of money. And they don't want that to happen. So that's why it's such a challenge to get good information. Those pharmaceutical companies, those big food companies are going to do everything they can and spend every dime they can to control the narrative, to control the information that you get from these researchers, to control all of the grant money, all the research money, all of the doctors in the hospitals. These pharma companies pay for all this. The food companies pay for all this. Of course, when they pay for the research, they're going to get the information out of that research that they want you to hear, whether it's right or wrong. That's the reality we face. The information that's out there is false. Read these books. Learn what's real and what's not. Learn the ulterior motives of these companies. Read the experts like Dr. Lustig and Dr. Berry and Dr. Baker and Michelle Hurn, the dietitian. New research is coming out every day proving that the proper human diet does not involve ultra-processed food or sugar or high fructose corn syrup or food additives and dyes and emulsifiers. And read the label on some of these things you're buying. And if you can't pronounce it, it's probably not something you want to eat. Eat whole, real food. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Get rid of sugar. Get rid of all carbohydrates. Get rid of sugar, flour, processed seed oils. If it comes from a little kernel or a seed, if it's oil that comes from those, it's a toxic 10th grade science experiment gone bad. Okay, to squeeze oil out of a corn seed or sunflower seed or soybean. I'm a chemist, okay, and been working in the chemical industry my whole life. And you would not believe the chemical process that it takes to extract the oil from those seeds. And as a result of the high temperatures and high chemical processing that happens to get those oils out of those seeds, you get all kinds of organic chemicals that are produced in that process that are basically create oxidative stress in your system. Oxidative stress basically causes inflammation. Inflammation causes immune response. Immune response causes soreness, achy joints, leaky gut, GERD, a whole number of problems. So if you go through the process of elimination, if you're eating a standard American diet now, the first thing you want to do is get rid of the sugar, the flour, the processed seed oils. Throw everything in your pantry away that has a label on it that has more than one ingredient. Throw it away. Get vegetables, get meat, get seafood, get fat. Fat is good for you. That's one of the myths that you'll see in Dr. Berry's book. Fat is what you should be eating, protein and fat. So start eating healthy by eating like a protein and a non-starchy vegetable. Then maybe a few berries, a few nuts. That's a ketogenic diet. So you go from the standard American diet with all this garbage, all these processed sugars, and sugar is your number one enemy. High fructose corn syrup is the villain of all. If it has high fructose corn syrup in it, don't eat it. Okay, so get rid of those items out of your diet. Start eating a vegetable and a protein, maybe a few nuts, a few berries. Over a 6-month period of time is what I did, and what happened was I lost 30 pounds, and I felt so good. I started eliminating all of the elements that I had. Started eliminating all the medicines I was taking. I reached a point after 6 months where my weight stalled. I decided to start removing dairy and removing some vegetables out of my diet. I was eating some starchy vegetables, so I removed all of my veggies and just started eating carnivore. And then my weight started back down again. I've lost 47 pounds. I've still got about 30 pounds to go. And I've had my challenges this week. The last couple of weeks, I had to make some adjustments to get a stall moving again. I actually gained 3 pounds this past week from had to travel and didn't eat right. It's always adjustments you have to make, okay? It's not completely easy all the time, but once you figure it out, you know how to make those adjustments, and you can control your weight. So, once I got onto carnivore, the weight started back down, and I've pretty much eliminated all of my medicines, and I feel fantastic. I'm 61. I had to buy all new clothes last week. Everything from last fall, when I got my fall clothes out, nothing fit, which is a good thing. So read books, understand that everything you're taught is wrong. Read the books, read the studies and the proof that all these ultra-processed foods are awful for you. The sugar is awful. Change your diet gradually do it over a year. For 6 months, cut back the carbs and the sugars and the junk food. And then gradually get rid of the fruit and the nuts and the veggies. Okay, but if you want to stay keto, that works great too. It's a spectrum. Okay, and you may or may not need to go all the way carnivore. Some people do, some people don't. But as you start to feel better, as you eliminate things from your diet, you're going to notice things that you never thought about before. Shoulder pain, sinus stuffiness, bronchitis, sleep apnea, beer gut, big belly, being overweight. There's so many things, there's so many benefits from going carnivore and eliminating things in your diet until you get to the point where you know what your body needs. So that's all I've got today. Just educate yourself, read the books, study these people who've been through this and who have solved their own problems and are helping other people to solve theirs. And you're going to be glad you did. You're going to feel better. You're going to lose weight. You're going to be back. I'm almost back to my high school weight. I've only got about 20, 30 more pounds to go, and I'm back to high school weight. and I feel better every day. Thanks for your comments. I love hearing from you. Take a minute to just make a few comments. Click that like button and subscribe to my channel. My channel is growing like crazy. I must be doing something right because I'm getting good response from people. I'm just sharing what I've done, and I'm hopefully benefiting other people. So good luck with everything. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon.